So Sean, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I got my McDonald's only $1 all summer. Did you know it's on? Only $1, any size, I'll
Please
pop.
don't. Here we go. Here we go. Listen, don't try to derail my moment, okay? I'm just trying to have a conversation
I'm
with
out
you.
of the way, man.
Just
It's all you.
trying to do the.
It's a
It's not
Bobby
all
show.
me. It's both of us.
Oh, okay.
Both
Oh,
of
I
us.
misunderstood.
It's. What are you doing, man? What are you doing? Just relax over there.
I thought
Stop
you were
hitting
supposed
the
to start being nice
buttons,
to me once we start
sending over
recording.
stuff.
I didn't know this was just going to carry on to the show.
I didn't know. Well, I don't know. You got me going so late at night. You
You're a
got
little
grumpy Bobby. I
A
don't
little
know what to tell
grumpy.
you.
That's okay. I understand.
But anyway, listen, we got these people that are pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
They're called patrons
Oh, nice.
over on Patreon.
Yep.
And we got some levels here that we need to acknowledge and thank and all that stuff. So we have our gold level patrons that we got Andrew Semichek from We the Nerdy.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome
Send me
dude.
streams.
Yeah. Brendan Myers.
Went to Gamer.
James Johnson.
Dr.
Doom with 9 O's. There's 9 O's. I don't know if it has.
He's got to get it back.
It's it is what it is. Ryan Turford, the game moves himself.
TUFROD.
Yeah,
Damn it.
yeah.
I messed that up. Sorry, Ryan. Gotta keep rolling.
I finally figured out who Tim is. It's Coach Timbo.
Okay, yeah. Of course it is.
Well, I mean, I didn't know
that.
at first because in the credits I put "who that," and he was like, "Who that?" And our platinum producer, the guy from England, Mr. Moody, Mark Moody,
Glorious.
the glorious one, and the Diamond executive producers. We got Jonathan Brown,
JB.
rolling
Purple
in
Monkey.
here. He just did it for a shirt, which is okay. I'm not hating. I'm very happy that he.
Good reason to do it.
It's a good reason to do it. Lee Navarro.
Nisio. Raisin spelled backwards.
Exactly. The man, the myth, the legend, Ted.
Travis
Dolson, and our double platinum producer, 2 times.
Oh my God.
Mr. Bobby
Smooth.
Miller. He's amazingness. And then we have a new patron this week, Sean. I don't know if you know this.
No, I didn't.
It's
You're telling me all
silver
news.
level. Coming into silver level, Mr. Eric Townsend.
Get out of here. Eric
So
Townsend.
I want to thank everybody that we just listed, as well as the other patrons over on Patreon. You too could be a patron over on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/Yumi Capri. You could be if you like to, Sean.
I probably could.
I wouldn't mind if you gave me some money. That'd be fine
I
with
think I
me.
give you enough, Bobby. You get enough from me.
All right, let's get on with the show.
If we ran Nintendo.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 151 of If We Ran Nintendo. I am Bobby, the Nintendo Guru, joined by the greatest co-host in all the land, Mr. Sean Capri.
I am the greatest co-host in all the land, Bobby. That's actually, you joke about that. I don't think that there's possibly a better
who
co-host.
jokes? Wait, who jokes?
I don't know. I just feel like you wouldn't say something that night. Like, everybody just heard the beginning of the show.
No.
You're a bit of a dinkus to me.
No, I think... Oh, here we go.
The woe is me again.
The woe is me nonsense again. Here we go. It's the Sean Capri show, people. This is where Sean starts to cry, that Bobby's mean to me and all that nonsense.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You need to be
You're
put in
bullying
check
me
a
right
little
now.
bit.
You're bullying me right now.
Well, after you attacked everybody for weeks on end, now all of a sudden you're being bullied. Stop. You just need to rein it in a little bit there.
Okay, I'm back to being positive. I'm good, man.
I'm good.
I've had my temper tantrums. I'm all finished. I'm good to just rock the positivity. You can be Grumpy Guru over there.
No, I'm fine. I'm starting
I'm
to wake
Sally
up a little
Sunshine,
bit.
Sean Capri. You know what I'm saying?
I'm waking up a little bit. I'm
Yep.
good to go. Good to go. Sean, let's kick this episode off like we do each and every episode with our shout
Geek outs. Oh, Bobby, this has been quite a good week for Geek Outs. Did you know that there was a Mario Maker 2 Direct that actually changed my mind about this game? I want to buy it. Day one. It's going to be one of my 2 games. I'm going to get those vouchers that they got going on for big savings. Nintendo does give you savings.
Man.
Dude, did we not just talk about Nintendo needs to get on the whole E3 thing and get me buying games in a creative way? This is a Nintendo-ass way to do it.
Well, here's the thing. So when I look at it, right, I look at this whole situation and I go, I'm doing 2 things. I'm actually going to buy the Mario Maker and the Nintendo Online and stack my extra year and get a year for $10, which is unbelievable. And then I'm going to actually buy the voucher, but I'm not going to use it for Mario Maker. I'm going to use it for Astral Chain and probably something else.
Astral Chain, I feel like will go cheap in a week. I don't know what it is, but that game just seems like it'll go on sale. I think I'm gonna use it for Link's
I'm
Awakening.
getting it for $50, why not?
Yeah, I don't know. feel like there's also a game that's coming out that is out already that I'm not sure. I gotta do some shopping, man. I was listening to Nintendo Shack, and they were running through all the games that are coming out in the next little bit. And it's more than I thought, man. Like, the way they laid it out is like they don't really have to add any new surprises to E3 because there's. Well, I mean, you and I were talking about like a couple weeks ago. Was it last week? We were saying how they basically have like 5 big games like coming out first party, but like there's a ton of stuff going on.
Oh, it's insane.
Wolfenstein and all these other things.
Yeah,
a lot of third-party support too.
I hooked up with our boy Justin Masson this week, and Sunday, and we did a hour and a half.
That was great.
Of just breaking down E3, like his predictions, what I believed in, what I didn't believe in, just ripping it up. And it starts off, and I'm lambasting him over his guarantees of Nintendo Directs, and he's like, "I'm telling you, there's one coming in May," and I'm like, "Would you shut up, dude? There's not one coming in May."
Dude, it was hours away.
Boom! Like the next day.
By the time I think you published it, I think it was we'd known about it.
Well, no, I published it after. So
yeah, exactly.
We recorded, and it come up. I'm like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me!"
Exactly.
Then the next day,
and you even rip on him for like maybe his predictions are okay, but like especially for directs, like he doesn't know what he is talking about.
Well, the thing is, and to be fair, he guaranteed a direct in January.
Yeah.
Never happened. And then he did the same thing last month
and
didn't happen. So that's what I was getting at. And to me, I think it's a weird thing. For directs, I don't view the single game directs really as a direct.
Sure.
Because
I would.
It's just really more, well, I don't, because there's no surprises per se. There's surprises in what the game's going to have, but there's no surprises in terms of like stuff we don't know. Like we knew about Mario Maker, we just didn't know exactly what functionalities it had. But like what I mean is like there's no surprises like a new game or something that Nintendo's been cooking up for a couple of years that we didn't know about. And I don't know. I view directs typically like the showcases of games that are coming out and all that stuff. I get why they do the other ones, and I like the other ones. But when people are like, "Oh, there's a direct coming," I never think of those single player game directs. But anyway,
yeah. So I'm geeking out about that. And did you see, dude? Did you see Minecraft Earth announced today? Did you see what that was?
No, what was
seriously? That? Oh, Bobby, I'm not even joking about this. It's the Pokemon Go of Minecraft. It's augmented reality. You're going on your phone. You're going out into the world, and you're building. Like, remember the first time you saw Minecraft with HoloLens, and they're like, "Oh my God, here's this table." But then it's like Minecraft. It's like Lego digital Lego essentially. That's what this is with your phone. You go out into your neighborhood and you like build things together, and like Minecraft is in your world. It's called Minecraft Earth. They announced it just first thing this morning. Need to check it out after the show.
I gotta check it out
because I think you would really like that, man.
Maybe. I don't know that. Yeah, we'll see. I have to check it out.
Yeah.
Pokemon Go kind of fell off for me a little bit, so I don't know.
Yeah, but you like that Minecraft. I think you could catch on. I think it might be for you.
Do you have any more geek outs before we do our shout outs?
No, that's it. That's it. Just
Okay. So first shout
outs.
As always, Rybo, you're in my heart. I'm thinking about you.
Yep.
And then yesterday. Well, not yesterday. It dropped today, which is Friday. But wait, did it? No, it dropped yesterday. My bad. It dropped yesterday, Thursday. Talk Nintendo podcast with Perry Burkham and Casey, and these two are really good guys. I was on the show. I guess spotted on the show. It was like a 2-hour episode, something like that.
Snap.
And we just broke down every single Nintendo E3 that's ever happened since the beginning, and it was so much fun to just go through each one and break it down and all that. So it was a blast. Check that podcast out if you can, but also just give them a follow on Twitter. They're two really good podcasters and good friends of mine. So
nice, man. That's sweet.
Yeah. What about you? Any
cool.
any shout outs?
A similar quick one over to our good friend Ryan Turford. You're in my thoughts. Think you're amazing. And Jason Lacey had me on Fluxtapose this week. Did you know that? I got to hang out. We got 90 straight minutes of hanging out with Jason Lacey. It was called Sean Taposed. I kind of wanted Sean's Taposed because I still wanted the S in there. But we got sweet hangs. We got to do a little bit of. We were gonna do like a full on if we ran Nintendo, but we talked that you probably wouldn't appreciate it. I don't know if you did. You listen to it?
No, I don't listen to that
Yeah,
show.
you would know. I would.
No,
I would.
I'm just
I mean, I would know. I would know
didn't-
if you heard
listen
it
to
because we ripped on you for a little bit.
I'm sure I'll go check
As
it
you
out.
do.
Of course.
As you do.
I typically will. It takes me a little bit to get to
I
these
understand.
things.
I'm a little behind on my podcast this week as well.
I just don't have the time. The hardest part for me is the time.
Yeah.
This winter, I was finally catching up, and I was back to listening every day. And then spring hit. It's been busy in the office, and I don't really have the time again. So I'll figure it out. I'll get it.
I hope you do.
Yeah, me too. I think that's all I have for shoutouts.
All right, man.
Justin Masson, thank you very much. Oh, you know what? Tomorrow night, we're doing something kind of special.
Ooh,
right?
Me and you. Yes.
Yeah, me and you. I don't know when it's going to launch. I don't know when we're going to do it, but it's not Patreon exclusive, is it? Or is it?
I think it is.
Is
What
it?
did we say?
Well, whatever.
Pretty sure.
So
it
we
is.
got a podcast that Sean and I did because it hit the level that it needed to for the tiers.
Mhm.
We're going to have a new podcast, You, Me, and Capri, and it's just basically Sean and I for I think 30 minutes, and we're just talking about life, and has nothing to do with gaming. It's just him and I kicking back, talking, having a good time. So you guys want
That
to
is
check that
Patreon
out?
exclusive.
Okay,
All,
so it's
$1 and
Patreon
up, no matter the level.
so, yeah, so if $1 and up, if you get it for free, something a little different that we're doing, and but all of our rest of our content is
$1 and up, you get it for free.
$1 and up.
Man, that's some gamer brainwashing, some stuff that we've been accustomed to these last couple of years, isn't it?
Yeah.
You get free games with your subscription that you pay for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You get some free content with that Patreon.
Free
that you pay
content
for.
with that Patreon.
Exactly.
So let's jump into our topics for this week.
Okay.
I'm gonna bounce around a little bit. So I'm gonna go. If we ran Nintendo, what would be the best way to approach the retro gaming market? So Nintendo a couple of years ago came out with these mini classics. They put out the NES Mini, and then they also put out the SNES, and essentially they started something where now it seems like everybody's doing them. Capcom just announced one. Sony did that big flop, that belly flop last year. That one. Neo Geo did one, with SNK type games and all that stuff, but it was Neo Geo. Sega's getting ready to launch one. Atari did one. I think Atari's doing another one, if I'm not mistaken. So my curiosity was, since I feel like Nintendo is kind of the innovators, I wonder if there's a way to do something in the retro market. And I feel like it's absolutely that way. But I feel like there's so much to do, and how do you accomplish it?
Yeah.
So I think the first thing that I would do if we ran Nintendo is I would reach out to – because here's the thing. A few years ago, I realized that as comic books started going into the digital world, DC and Marvel reached out to the brick and mortars and started to get more hands-on with them and work with them to help them, because they realized this is the grassroots. This is how you get things up and running and moving smoothly. I know it would never happen in a million years, but if I was running Nintendo, I think that I would start a grassroots with local retro game stores. And I would start off with probably 6 to 9 months of just going into these retro game shops and saying, listen, we would like to make you an exclusive partner with us. And what could we do to help you? Like, get a list of things, pull together some stuff. What would be your consoles of choice that we would help you with? Maybe it's a matter of like teaching some of these retro shops how to repair them so they can become a repair shop, so to speak, for some of this stuff.
Like certified. I think some of them like kind of know it, but yeah, do a little bit more outreach is what you're saying.
Help them a little bit, because I'm sure there's some that don't really know it all. You know what I mean? And they're still a little, but so you can destroy a console. So it'd be nice to be able to say like, hey, this is how you fix it. This is what you do. This is how you make it right. In addition, I think that I would start to reproduce the original consoles again.
Yeah.
Obviously start with NES and SNES, but I wouldn't do this thing with a rollout. I would just day one, boom, here they are. This is it. You were going to do the NES, the Super Nintendo, the N64. I'd probably start there.
Yeah. Yeah, with the first three. Well, here's what I start to think about, and it's not to shut the conversation down, but it's a challenge that we would have to face to appeal to the modern gamer as well, because there's the modern gamer, as much as we all really love our old retro systems, there's realities that sort of happen. Like, I don't know about you, but at one point Chelsea and I had every intention of having every console that we ever had plugged into the TV. We had all the switches, like not the Nintendo Switch, like the like video input switches and everything like that. But the power blocks are a pain in the butt. All the cabling is a pain in the butt. Like there's almost too much stuff. So then how do you create like maybe a product that can either combine some of those things? Maybe there's a smaller form factor, or is that something that you would consider as part of the solution?
Honestly, I would say we're going to upgrade these consoles.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
You got to modernize them.
Exactly.
I would probably keep the shapes and keep the stuff the way they were, but I would upgrade them where you can put it to an HDMI. You know, that's your hookup.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's what the hookups are today. That's what you would have then, or now. And so for me, I would say like I would have them like you're not going to play the games in HD. I think the games should still play relatively the way they were. But because they're not, I don't want to create emulating systems. I don't want retrons and stuff like that. I just want to be able to.
Yeah, like you want a real console.
Yes, I want it to be the original console, just with the ability to hook up. I would
Do you
also
think it would have the ability to switch over to an HDMI. Like, does that mess? I don't know the technicality of it, but I would assume like
it does.
It would be like my receiver going from like analog to HDMI. Like it doesn't. I mean, there might be a delay with that.
I don't know that there would be. I mean, I don't know. I mean, these aren't. I mean, I'm not going to get into the technical side of things.
Yeah, I just want to I feel like people are just going to yell at us for whatever reason. And somebody who's smarter than us probably will yell at us. So you're free to yell at us.
This is more for me saying, what would I do if because I recognize there's a huge market out there, and nobody is capitalizing on it except for these companies that put out these like the Retrons with like crappy controllers and all this stuff. And like I feel like Nintendo could take it, because here's the thing, like you were talking about the big bricks and all that stuff. That's fine. All you do is you reverse it. Put the big brick that plugs into the console, and then the regular plug plugs into the wall.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, why? I don't know how any of that stuff works. Like, why were we able to have the minis operate on such smaller power? Like, you just plug it. Like, you and I plugged into just like USB on the TV.
That's all I did. I just plugged the USB into the TV.
So I was even thinking about like, because I still want to encourage gamers to have like all the systems. If I'm running Nintendo and if we re-release all the systems, the NES, Super Nintendo, and the 64, like I almost want to make it so easy that you don't even require separate inputs. That somehow like they daisy chain together or something by like USB-C or something like that connect together so that they're all powered by just one single power source, and you can have multiple consoles connected to that one thing.
That would be cool, where if you had like a USB-C that you plugged into the NES into the Super Nintendo and the N64.
It's like a docking system, essentially.
Yeah, and then it would ran all through. I mean, if it's capable, I don't know if that stuff's capable, but if it is, that would be pretty cool to be like, hey, you can plug it on, have it on one shelf, and you don't even think about it.
I think that's how I would do it, actually, is treat it exactly. Anybody who's got like a laptop docking system, like and you can get them all the time. My dad has one for his computer, and it's amazing. It's a USB cable that goes right from his laptop to this thing, and it spits out everything. It spits out his display and everything. You could totally do that for multiple consoles. So I would want like a bit more of an elegant solution to and encourage people to have all of the things.
Well, and I think ultimately that's what the idea is. I'm not looking to just reproduce the original NES. I want the shell to look like the original NES. I want them to be able to play original NES cartridges. But I want it to be where it's upgraded so they don't have to have this big CRT TV and all that stuff in the house. You want to be able to get new gamers. And by the way, I would still have the old plugins there as well. So if someone does want to use a CRT, they could plug in.
Well, yeah, because you probably want to for things like Duck Hunt and stuff like that.
Yes, exactly. Like but I would make it where it's... Because what my idea is again, there's a huge market for retro gaming, and nobody is doing it. So my idea is, how would we, if we ran Nintendo, tap into that to do two things? One, capitalize, make some money off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Two, help gamers, you know what I mean? Like, get gamers what they need and what they want in their hands.
Yeah.
And then three would be to help with mom and pop shops, to keep them relevant, keep them alive. Like, I don't care about GameStop. I don't care about Best Buy, any of them. I'm talking about the Nick militias in the world. Like, these little companies that, you know, are selling our games to everybody else. Like, guess that's the thing. Like, you think about it. Nintendo's sold that game. They're not making any money off of that at all. Why shouldn't we try to recapture some of that money and make money off of it? And then maybe even as time goes on, just put out special edition carts.
Yeah.
Occasionally.
Well, that was what I was thinking, is like the major expenses creating those carts. But then you've got, like, I love your idea of pairing up with these mom and pop shops, because they're sitting on a ton of inventory of just the plastic itself.
Yeah.
So what if part of the process was like almost like recycling? Like, what if you were able to send in, what is the crappiest game on NES that you can think of? Baseball. I don't know.
Whatever. Yeah.
But they're like, I want to put on like Secret of Mana onto this thing.
Yeah.
Which is totally different systems, I understand. But Final Fantasy 3, I don't know. Like, what if you're able to, like, I don't know, is it the cart itself or is it the chip or something? Like, I feel like trying to leverage all the inventory that's out there as part of this is maybe as part of the solution.
Well, I don't know that I want to do that. I don't know I want to go that extreme. I feel like that's kind of taking away
then the
from
other
the
thing
idea.
is, for them to buy, they would almost have to either buy or run a subsidiary company that just like takes care of this. This can't distract from like the main Nintendo business.
No.
You buy
This
some sort of like
is a
specialty.
new business.
Yeah.
You know, this is new. This is in addition to what we're doing with the Switch and everything else, in my opinion.
Yep.
I feel like there is, like I said, it's just an untapped market. But I don't know that I would get into the thing of like, hey, you turn in this cartridge and we give you this.
Sure.
But what I would also say to them is, like, if someone comes in with an old console and wants us to retrofit it, you could teach these shops. Like, my idea would be is to get the technology or the know-how in the hands. So if someone comes into Nick with a Super Nintendo, and he's like, hey man, I don't want to get rid of my Super Nintendo because it's the one I had as a kid, but man, I would love for you to retrofit this and make it where it can operate like one of these other ones. And he's like, okay, it's $50, $60, whatever it might be. I'll have the thing for a week or two. And then he goes and he puts it together and builds it. You know, and obviously you're going to have companies like that might not be able to do that. But I know there's downtime at times where they could be doing stuff too. So I don't know. I don't know whether some of the ideas are
you're just trying to link like the money going back to Nintendo, because like there are, and I Nick, just close your ears for a second. Like, there are sites that you like. Lukey Games is a site that you can get like refurbished stuff, and they fix up the contacts and things like that.
Yeah.
So
Nick does too. I mean, Nick does that too.
Okay.
You can take your stuff in there. He'll fix it. He'll clean it. He cleans every single game before he gets it.
Yeah.
If there's contact, like everything is working because he fixes it all before it goes out. So he knows how to do all. I mean, there's other shops as well too. But I know what you're getting. Go ahead.
No, I just don't know then, like, so if that's what everybody's doing, then like how does Nintendo like kind of get back into this? There's also like licensing stuff. Like, it's so interesting. I don't understand, even with the for Xbox, like what they have to do in terms of the license to be able to allow you to play the game on a newer system. Like, that is very strange to me.
Well, I mean, here's the idea. We're not creating the games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to take, I'm trying to think what the license
That's true.
Rambo on the NES
Yeah.
and try to license that and put it out. We have enough game. Like, what I'm thinking is this. What if you were to go, hey, you know what? Remember that Super Mario All-Stars? That was so cool on the SNES. We're going to actually take 1, 2, and 3 and Lost Worlds and put them on one NES cartridge, right? It's going to be special edition, whatever it is, but the graphics are going to look like the original graphics. It's not going to be the up-res and all that. And you just do stuff like that, you know, where you're giving people something special occasionally to drive that market. And then the idea is you sell that cartridge only in those mom and pop shops.
Yeah.
Because it's a way to help them. And because here's the thing, like something that Marvel and DC do is, let's say that like the newest book right now is Batman 1000 or Detective 1000. So what they do is they go to the comic book shops and they allow the comic book shops to collaborate with an artist to do a variant cover. And then they pay the artist to do the variant cover, and then it has to get approved first by DC, and then DC will put it up. And then, so you could have Detective 1000 with literally 1,000 different covers. But there's collectors that'll go out and try to collect every single cover. So what I'm thinking is you do that with the video game market. You create these special editions. Like, why not do a new Punch-Out with maybe a special new character in there that's not, you know what I mean, like is only for that game or whatever, or do something kind of quirky with it. Like here's an example, we didn't get Mother 1 in the United States. So you go, hey, you know what, here's the prequel, here's Mother 1 translated, or Earthbound Beginnings as it was made, because it was translated and brought to the United States on the Wii U.
Yeah.
So you make Earthbound Beginnings and you move it over and make it into its own special cart and its own box and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, so that got me thinking a little bit about like anniversary type of things. That this this actually isn't an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
Because it can lose its luster pretty quickly, as we've seen even just with the fact that like we kind of got jaded pretty quickly when we got the NES and then the Super Nintendo came out. And we're like, okay, well, we kind of know the deal here. So how do you do, like, we always get mad about Nintendo has these anniversaries sneak up on them and they don't know what to do with them. But like, what if you had like the 35th anniversary of Super Mario World and you had some amazing Super Nintendo that was coming out? You had the game, the cart, or whatever, and it was a legitimate thing. But like, then you're only responsible for like making that cart or whatever special that comes with that bundle or whatever, and then everybody else can still go nuts with their old the retro gaming market. Exactly. And then that kind of speaks a little bit more to the relationship with those indie shops, because you're kind of you're injecting some fuel back into the retro market as well, instead of just kind of like leap or jumping onto it.
Yeah,
kind of just
that's my idea. Is here's a way to help the little guys as well. You're helping yourself because you're making money on it as well, and you're helping all three. You're helping yourself, you're helping the gamer, you're helping the stores, because ultimately, let's be honest, at some point, GameStop goes away. Yeah. At some point, Best Buy runs into brick walls. At some point, Target is done. Like, we've seen these things where companies that we thought were going to last forever are disappearing. Yeah. So this is a way to solidify a grassroots type thing. So this way, if you do have a situation where your brick and mortars kind of disappear, well, you still have your brick and mortars. Yeah. And you could, by the way,
the comic shops, like you're saying.
Exactly.
Like, I walk into a comic shop on Free Comic Book Day, and it's just like, how do these places stay in business? And it's because they create an experience there that kids and nerds want. Like, you can just go there and play Magic for 72 hours straight. Yeah. For God's sake. It's something that you can't get anywhere else. It's something special that when you walk in the store, there used to be a comic book shop when I was a kid called the Fantasy Factory. And you go in, and it was just like so amazing. And then when I saw it when I was older, I was like, that place is a piece of garbage. But when you're a kid and you walk through, it's magical. And that's what I feel. Like when I go into Nick's Retro Shop, when I go into other retro gaming shops, it's a trip down nostalgia. It gives you a warm, fuzzy feeling. Like, and this is something that like you could take Link and go, hey, this is what we had when I was a kid. Yeah. Like, check these out. I remember vividly being 13 and just starting to get into comic books, right? And my dad takes me to Fantasy Factory, and we're looking around, and it's the first time I realized, like, there's comic books from when my dad was a kid. Yeah, man. On the wall, right? And my dad looks on the wall and goes, oh, my God, I had that book when I was a kid. And I still remember to this day, it's Batman, two-way death trap. He's in the water,
he's floating, he's trying to swim, and there's gun bullets going across. So the idea is either he goes down, he drowns, or the water rises up and he gets shot in the head. And you're like, how's he going to get out of this and all this stuff? And my dad bought that book for like $10 and was like, here, I want you to have this because I had it when I was a kid, but I want you to take care of it. And I still have it to this day.
I love that.
So, I mean, like, how cool would it be to go, hey, Link, man, look here's some games that I used to have. Like, here's Link to the Past. Your uncle destroyed this game for neighbor Matt, and we were never allowed to play.
He really did.
I know. So I'm just saying, like, you have these stories you should create. I just feel like there's something special there that could really, help Nintendo, help small game shops, help the gamers.
I mean, it's not completely unfounded, too, because, like, I bring up the comic book store. That's one example. But also, like, vinyls came back in a big, bad way when it came to music. Like, when everything went digital and CDs were on their way out and everybody's like, well, physical's gone. And then, like, what the crap? Like, records? People are buying records? And then people are trying to find, like, turntables and buy needles and everything like that. Like, it's not a huge business, but I feel like maybe the vinyl was kind of like it was a big deal for quite a while. So how do you spark that industry, and then how do you make the most out of it?
Yeah, like you go to FYE now, well, in the United States store FYE, you go in there and they're selling record players, like turntables and needles and vinyls and all that stuff. And it's like, it's crazy to see all this stuff come full circle. But we know, as gamers, the retro scene is huge right now. And it's a way to just kind of, like I said, appease all sides and just make things.
It'd be nice just to pop in a game and have it play,
Yeah.
Those are the days.
And that's the thing. You know
How
what I mean?
old
Like,
do we sound right now?
I know, but when you look at, like, the classics consoles, they just weren't that good. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't... First off, the cords were garbage. I get that. That's irrelevant. But the idea of, like, hey, here's 30 games. Man, I want the other games too. I want the ability to play the other games on my TV. So how do we accomplish this? We open it up and let people start collecting these things again, and just make it special too. But again, that's one that'll never happen, and I feel like a jack now. So, okay, let's move on.
Well, I want special color. Like, I mean, we talk about this with the classics whenever we get to it, but like I want different colors. N64. I want that like translucent purple or whatever that crap they had, and all the different controllers that they had. Like, how do you reignite that? I feel like people go absolutely bonkers over those types of things.
Could you imagine if they did a 30 or 40th anniversary of Mario, and they did a Mario NES, a Mario Super Nintendo, a Mario N64, and it was like all three were different. They were kind of variants, special editions, and they're very limited.
That's your new amiibo. To be honest with you, you do that waves. You do that in waves. Wave 1 is like these 4 games. You buy them individually. They're $15 or $20 each or whatever.
Yeah,
like that would be crazy. You could have it go for a full year, maybe 2 year, and I think that would be how you do. Like, that's how you leave everybody in the dust. Everybody else is chasing the new like NES Classic.
Yeah,
and you just, I don't know. I feel like that would, even though you're not getting as many games, even though it would still kind of cost you, but it's just something different.
Yeah, you're not getting many games, but I think where you're going to make your money is, I feel like, because what it does is it also helps the Switch. Just meaning that it helps the Switch because Nintendo's on the bring. So when people go, I want to play modern console, I'm going to buy this Nintendo. Or because you're bringing kids back in. Like, that's the thing. Like, kids
I think you're being even too rational about it. You got to tap into the fact that people are totally nuts when it comes to this stuff. Like, nobody is playing these classic systems that we're getting. Like, people bought them because they have great memories of them. They don't buy them to use them. So then how do you create the next, like, completely irrational thing? Well, there's limited sources. Like, there's limited carts for Mario Brothers 1, 2, and 3 on the NES. That's Wave 1. And then you've got, I don't know, Zelda and who knows what else. I think that's the idea.
Could be pretty awesome. So this next topic, I'm gonna have to lean on you a little bit because I don't know all the details, and I'm sure you pretty much have all the details.
Oh, it's your idea for the topic.
I know, but I want to
we'll talk through it. Okay.
That's what I figured. As Nintendo, if we ran Nintendo, how would we approach the Sony Microsoft partnership announcement that just happened this week?
Yeah.
So go ahead. What exactly happened.
Okay, so this is something that you and I have actually talked about on this show for this very purpose. So Microsoft is the leader in the world in terms of their Azure clouds, their cloud system. So accessing data from all over the world using their top of the line accessing internet and servers in the cloud. So I've been saying forever and ever, sounding like a fanboy, saying Microsoft and Xbox have this online stuff figured out. They're the best in the world about it. Sony's network sucks. Xbox network, great. Nintendo's network, not very good. I think everybody should just be accessing and using Microsoft's expertise when it comes to their Azure cloud. Even when we talked about this before, we've reminded people that even Apple uses Microsoft services.
I remember saying that a couple weeks ago. Yep.
So the agreement is that moving forward, Sony would actually be using Microsoft's cloud services for streaming games, and that they didn't go into much more detail than that, but you could imagine that perhaps even like the PSN could be based on Microsoft cloud servers. Streaming services like PlayStation Now, where you're essentially doing the Google Stadia thing, streaming directly from the cloud. You're not running hardware to play the games. That's running on Microsoft servers. And I think it's a strong move for those two to sort of like pal up and kind of go hand in hand fighting the incoming Google monster.
Yeah.
So it sets the stage for, like, it's very interesting that those were the two that got together, considering how we've been talking a lot over the last couple of months of Microsoft and Nintendo partnering up, being very buddy-buddy. And now these two titans going at it. I just think that that's probably because Sony was a little further along in their online sort of maturity and what they want to do online. Yeah. But I would imagine that there's something there as well for Nintendo, which I think is what we wanted to discuss.
And that's the thing. Like, I look at this, right, and I go, I feel like Stadia, and I said this before, I feel like Stadia is still a little pie in the sky.
Yeah.
And I feel like whatever Microsoft and Sony are working on now is still a little pie in the sky in terms of, like, the streaming stuff. Mm-hmm. It only works if you have a great internet service, in my opinion. I feel like there's places in the world that have the worst internet in the world, mm-hmm. and it's not going to work for them. Mm-hmm. I don't care what you're doing. It's not going to work for them. So in this particular situation, if I was a Nintendo, I would just say, like, we're not ready for it completely, but we're going to keep an eye on it.
Not the streaming services, and I agree with you, and I don't know if it's necessary to jump on that, like, immediately. And Nintendo shows us time and time again that they don't need to be on the bleeding edge technology. They got to focus on the games, and they got to focus on just making a system that people want, and it's different, and they set themselves apart. But they continue to fall behind on a number of areas. I don't remember what show you were saying this on, but like the lag on Smash is a bit of a nightmare.
It's horrible.
And when you cut and Splatoon from time to time can be a bit of a mess. So at a baseline for multiplayer stuff, like, that's a huge incentive to just let Microsoft just take care of this stuff. They have figured it out. They're absolutely the leaders in this. Yeah. And if that's the role that they play in video games moving forward, honestly, I'm totally great with it, because then that means that everybody's at a much higher standard.
Do you think... See, and here's the weird thing. Nintendo is crazy enough to just go to Google and ask Google for help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like where Sony is involved, Nintendo doesn't want to be around them. And it makes me wonder now, does this start to fracture the relationship between Microsoft and Nintendo?
I could see that Microsoft, like Phil Spencer going, or it seems like it was even bigger, because it was like Phil Spencer was passing this news along, but it was Satya Nadella who was shaking hands with Mr. Sony. I don't remember Sony's name. Like, that's like that top, like when the press release was, it was a joint press release that was released, and it was, they didn't mention Xbox or PlayStation. It was Microsoft and Sony that were discussed, which I think is really interesting, because it takes it maybe outside of console boxes, or maybe outside of gaming.
It could become movie based as well.
Yeah.
Because there's all these conversations, especially with, when you think about it, like, Sony's in the entertainment business, right? And with all these streaming services popping up, like, I was reading the other day, like, Disney is actually going to take over all of Hulu.
Yep.
and they'll have it for like they'll own the NBC rights till like 2029 or something like that before NBC and Comcast can pull all that back, and then I guess go make their own streaming service. So essentially, Disney will have 2 streaming services, and then you have Netflix, which I think is going to start coming upon some hard times soon. And then you have, like, say, you have Hulu, whatever. You have all these different streaming services, and it makes me wonder: does Sony want to get into the game?
I mean, maybe, but who cares what Sony wants to do?
No, but I'm just saying. So
I was going to jump back to Nintendo. Like, I think if you were to, if we ran Nintendo and we just took all the things that we've been building online, throw it all out, and then just jump on top of Microsoft servers, we solve so many problems in terms of how do we share our games, how do we manage like digital rights management. Like, can I own multiple Switches without it being like the worst hassle in the world? Whereas I don't even think about it with going from Xbox to Xbox or even PlayStation to PlayStation in some cases. Yeah. It fixes cloud saving issues. Like cloud saving is such a nightmare on Switch. I would argue it's still not quite right, dude.
Because you have to actually go in and click a button.
Yeah, like it should just be
throw
automatic.
Those games on the cloud. They should automatically go to the cloud. My question is this. Typically when Nintendo does things like this, partners with somebody, there's an exchange of stock.
Maybe that was a deal breaker.
And I wonder if that was maybe Microsoft was just like, we don't want you to buy any of us or buy into us.
Yeah.
And Nintendo might have been like, no, we have to.
Yeah.
Because there's also
like DNA.
Yes, like DNA. When Nintendo went in with DNA, they bought into DNA. Yeah. DNA owns Nintendo stock.
Good call, Nintendo.
Yeah,
it's really panning out.
Yeah, well, for the mobile markets, where it's panning out because they're basically, to some degree, handling a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, it just seems like an overcorrect with the app. That's kind of where I'm going.
Yeah. But my question, the other thing too is there's also this heavily rumored thing. Not heavily rumored. That's a bad term. I've heard a rumor in the past that Apple might be eyeballing Nintendo.
Yeah, that pops up every once in a while. Yeah, I don't think they have a chance. There's no way.
Crazier things will happen. You never know, because if Apple comes in with some crazy nut number, do they, Because that's the thing. Like, okay, so here's the thing.
Everybody has their price. You're saying so. I don't know how many hundreds of years old Nintendo is as a company, and they're just gonna let Steve Jobs' ghost come and buy them out.
You never know, and the reason why I'm saying that is this: when you look at Beats, right? Yes, they bought out Dr. Dre, but he still works for them. So could it be a situation where they? I know we're getting.
I know you're just kind of walking through it. I get you.
I'm just kind of walking through because my thoughts are. Does Nintendo jump over there and then go, oh, we're going to work this deal over here? But I think ultimately, I think you're onto it, and I think that to rein it back into where we need to be, I think that Nintendo would be wise to work with Microsoft here.
Yeah.
If we ran Nintendo, I would just put ego aside, not worry about what Sony does, and just continue to do what we do. But it's weird for the idea with Nintendo is for so long they've not cared about Microsoft and Sony, just did their own thing. So to now be like, hey, we're going to go over here, that's where I think that Nintendo is kind of not really caring, because that's tech that they don't care about.
Yeah. Which
they should care about it if they want to make us happy. But I don't know that they've ever cared about making us happy when it comes to tech.
If somebody, like if Microsoft and Sony and Google have this, like they must have something figured out because they're all on it. It's kind of like, I mean, that's sort of my gut reaction. Then I start to think about VR. Maybe there really isn't anything there because everybody's thought like VR was the next thing and it's going to be taking over because like it's got Facebook money behind it, it's got Valve money, it's got like the Steam, all that stuff. So maybe I shouldn't be reading into it quite that much, but I'm really starting to think that maybe where there's smoke, there's fire. And that sort of makes you a little bit worried that maybe Nintendo's not going to be there with them.
If they might not be, honestly, they might not be, because while all the other consoles and all the other gaming companies are looking at streaming to be a viable thing, Nintendo's been on record to saying like we're not ready for that yet. Like we're still gonna do. They're looking for whatever is going to be for the next iteration of the Switch. Like they're pushing hardware, you know. Where the rumor I just read today was PlayStation's basically looking to do like a Stadia thing in the PS5.
Yeah,
and that's a possibility that it becomes a Stadia thing in the PS5. So I don't think Nintendo's anywhere near that, and I think Nintendo kind of like HD is going to stay back, ride in late, and let everybody else kind of like make the mistakes and stuff, and then let them try to learn.
There's a lot of mistakes to be made, very costly lessons to be learned.
Yes.
So maybe they are wise to do that, and just go to the beat of their own drum.
So what? Okay, so let's. So what would we do if we ran Nintendo? I don't think. I'm pretty sure these negotiations or these talks had to have been happening.
Like Nintendo knew that this was an option. Yeah,
it can't be all games that Nintendo and Microsoft are talking about. There's got to be other level stuff that's happening. So I think that if I ran Nintendo, it's obvious that like I would go, you need to help us with our internet.
But think about it this way too, though. Like how much time and resources and energy does Nintendo have to put into developing its own thing? Like as much as it hurts to maybe send money and funnel money into a competitor or to maybe even worse, an American company.
Yeah.
What does that save them if they just like wrote them a check? Now they get their online expertise and they don't have to then they can focus on games.
You just focus on games.
Like that might be my number one argument for this. As a fanboy, I'm stoked for like I think Xbox is obviously the best at this, and network would be stronger and whatever. But like imagine taking all your people off of trying to make like internet work on a Switch or on the Nintendo network, and how much of a joke that is, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. Like that's done. It's kind of like if Nintendo was making their own processors. Like look at what happened to PlayStation when they stopped making a damn cell processor or cell whatever the hell it was called, and they just threw an AMD chip into their, I don't even know what it is. Is it AMD? I think it is. Which is funny because Xbox, PlayStation use AMD, and then Nintendo uses Intel or the Tegra, Nvidia. I'm mixing CPUs up with whatever. You guys know what I'm saying. You guys are cool.
I think that definitely if I was Nintendo, if we ran Nintendo, there would be aspects I would be jumping in here. Like you said, the cloud-based stuff, definite. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Letting them run our servers. Like, you got these people paying you money for better internet. Because that was the theory. That was what you were told. That's what we were told. Hey, you give us money, we should be able to upgrade the servers, make things better. I will say, the only thing that's bad is Smash, in my opinion. Nintendo, the NES games get a little wonky at times too, but Smash is the worst.
Yeah, that's kind of a bad one because that's kind of the biggest selling thing. Mario Kart has its issues too, man.
Not for me. I have.
It hides it very well.
Issues.
Just the rubber band, like the way that you can kind of be like, you're playing along, and then somebody who's behind you will just all of a sudden just like zip up to the front because the internet's kind of like catching up with itself.
I never had that problem. I've never had that problem. That's me personally, and I stream it all the time. I just never that.
Leave a comment below.
I've never had issues.
Yeah.
The only time I've had issues is when they've done big events.
But that's the other thing too, is that it maybe you might be right. Maybe it's limited in terms of how many of those issues are popping or cropping up.
Yeah.
It's because Nintendo creates these limited worlds, these limited like sessions. We want to do more things on Nintendo in terms of online, but we get smaller matches because Nintendo is limited. So if you blow the doors off the thing, you have to have a stronger infrastructure for online.
Yeah.
You're not dealing with 4-on-4 is like the maximum that you're dealing with Splatoon. Like, I don't know, man. You should be able to do more. You should have bigger worlds in an online space. And I can't think of anything other than maybe Fortnite, which is totally separate. Minecraft, which is Xbox.
Yeah.
Like, what are the first party big online experiences? Like, they're just not there.
No, there's not.
So you need to open it up. It's not even just about our games running smoothly right now.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. and I'm with you. I think
Yeah.
that they should just put some ego, like the streaming stuff. No, they don't need that right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're not there yet. I don't even think they have the tech, the hardware to run it. But who knows?
Well, that's why you go. That's why you partner up with Microsoft.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I get that. But I think also there's kind of that hesitation of what do we do, what do we don't do.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Does
interesting.
this say to you, them not partnering up in this way? Does this say to you, like, should we be giving up on Virtual Console? Like, are we giving up?
I don't think Virtual Console's dead.
Because I feel
At
like this
all.
would lead into Virtual Console. Like, I feel like if you had like a streaming service, like if I paid $5 a month or whatever it is, $10 a month, and you just get Nintendo's Virtual Console catalog essentially, but it streams. You don't have to buy anything anymore. Like that to me is kind of what would be a logical step to partner up with
Where you
Microsoft
just
or
pay a
something
monthly,
like that.
pay
Yeah.
a monthly service and get them. I mean,
Yeah.
it's possible. It's definitely possible.
Like where Game Pass is like that's Microsoft saying they've got new games coming out there. I don't know that I see either Sony or Nintendo doing that for brand new games. I think it was a move out of desperation for Microsoft just to like kind of withstand this generation, and they'll probably be like eating it in the next generation, where Nintendo will just continue to sell full price games for $60 for the lifespan of the damn game. So how do they get more into like subscription model like money, because recurring cash is just that's king, man. You get somebody signed up for patreon.com/Yumi Capri, a couple bucks a month, and that's how you run things. That's how you make things better, if you know what I mean.
Oh boy. So that is all. Thank you guys.
Is it really?
That is all, Sean. That is all. Well, I mean,
sure?
technically, if you're a Patreon supporter, we do have a little extra that we got to do.
Mm-hmm.
We have a topic by James Johnson this week. What 3DS games do you want to see sequels to be on the Switch? And I think we could make it, if we ran Nintendo, what 3DS games will we make sequels for?
Do you guys know how many Kirby games are on the 3DS, Bobby? How many Kirby games do you think were on the 3DS?
Shut your face.
There was like Robo.
You can follow Sean
Robo
Capri
Kirby.
over on Twitter. Sean Capri,
Super
Sean like
Epic Yarn.
Connery, Capri like the pants. You can follow me at Nintendo Gurus. That is all. Peace out, Preston.
Buy and play some video games. And my name is Toby.